Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and this is a phone that I've been pretty interested to check out since it's so different than things I normally look at, and this is the Nubia Red Magic 3S, and this comes out in the United States shortly and is under $500. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at it. We'll go over the specs, turn it on, and see what we've got. So let me cut this down here a little bit. Peel away the wrapper. This phone comes in at $479 with 8 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigabytes of storage. For $599, it's 12 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gigabytes of storage. So let's open it up here. Now this is the 8 gigabyte model. As you can see here, 8 gigabytes, 128 gigabytes of storage. Let's set that aside and see what comes in the box. So we've got 3 different things here. We've got, looks like maybe some cables here. So we've got USB-C to USB-A, so we'll set that aside. This looks like it's probably our plug here. And this is, I believe, an 18-watt fast charger. Let me see here. It's USB-A to USB-C. It actually doesn't say as far as the fast charging part goes, but let's take a look at some of the paperwork we've got here, or literature. We've got a SIM card removal tool. It's kind of a unique one. And let's see what we've got inside here. So we've got some Red Magic stickers, we've got a warranty card, and then we have a quick start guide that just talks about all of the different parts of the phone. Let's set all of this aside and take a closer look at the phone itself. So here's the phone itself. This is actually thinner than I thought, but also larger. Let's go ahead and open this up. It's got a screen protector that's already installed. I could take this off in just a moment, but this is all metal, and it has UFS 3.0 storage in it. And this is a gaming phone that should have triggers right here. You've got touch triggers on the top, so you can play games on it. And this has a Qualcomm Snapdragon 855 Plus with an Adreno 640 GPU. It's got active liquid cooling as well as a turbo fan. So you've got a fan in there with fan vents. So let's take a look around the outside of the phone and talk more about it, and then we'll set it up. So on this side, you can see we have a power button. We also have a volume button. Again, we've got that fan vent. We've got our triggers up here. On the bottom, we have a speaker, and these should have stereo speakers as well with DTS sound. We've got USB-C and a microphone. On this side, we have some pogo pin connectors where you can buy a separate dock, put it on the dock, and then you can actually charge it or use it as a gaming dock. And then we've got our SIM card slot. Let's take a look at it. I don't believe this has expandable storage, but it does have dual SIM card slots. So if you're looking for that, you'll have that option. And then we have a switch up here as well. And that switch is for Game Boost. So that'll be interesting to check out. Now on the back, we've got a fingerprint sensor, and this is a 48 megapixel rear facing camera. Now you only get one along with a flash. There's a little microphone here in the upper right. But this camera is a Sony sensor. It has an f1.79 aperture and it's wide angle. It also will record 8K for 15 frames per second. Now I'm not sure why you would want to do 15 frames per second, but it can do it. And it should be pretty interesting to look at. Now on the front we have a forward-facing camera, and the forward-facing camera is 16 megapixels. Now let's go ahead and turn it on. There we go. And it should have a pretty stock version of Android on it. Now this display is 6.65 inches. It's an HDR AMOLED that supports DCI P3 color space. So you'll see Nubia privacy policy, and you'll have to agree to that to continue. And now we've got the stock setup for Android. So this is a 6.65-inch HDR AMOLED DCI P3 display at 2340 by 1080 with 388 pixels per inch. Now it is a 90 hertz refresh rate, so it should be super smooth. It's also got 240 hertz of touch responsiveness, so that's pretty high as far as that goes. The other interesting thing is it has a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, so this thing is pretty loaded, especially for under $500. So let's go ahead and set it up. So it's asking me if I want to copy data from another Android phone or something else. I'm not going to copy. I'm going to set it up as new, put in my email address, Now we set up the fingerprint sensor now that I'm signed in. So we'll go next. Have to set up a pin. We'll just do 1, 2, 3, 4 for now. Google Assistant is set up. So now we're at the home screen, and this should be closer to stock Android other than this little skin over here. So we've got an app drawer here. There's nothing else in it. And then it's very standard as far as Android goes. Let's pull down here. And that's it as far as we've got there. Now, the game accelerator, we should turn this on, and you'll hear that noise. It says separate game spaces, restore handheld gaming experience, and we'll hit start. Now we can add a game, so I'll have to install a game and try that out, and we can get alerts. So let's go back and let's try a game. Now, I've been using this phone for a little bit, and as you can see, it's got a live wallpaper on the back. I changed it up a little bit, and I've got a bunch of games installed that I've tried as well. Now, before we get to the games, this has a 48 megapixel rear camera that can do 8K at 15 frames per second. So if I just snap a quick picture here, it's nice and fast. And just my overall impression initially is that it's quite good. It looks pretty good. It does have a night mode as well. So if we go back into the camera, you've got night modes. You've got a beauty mode here they call pretty, and a pro mode. Let's go over to pro mode here so you can adjust the ISO, the focus, shutter, white balance, and everything you want. So it's actually pretty full featured. And then again, it's got that 16 megapixel forward facing camera as well. And it's got autofocus, of course, and everything else. But this phone is all about gaming. And the interesting thing is as soon as you switch this switch on here, the LED lights turn on the back, which is supposed to be ambient lighting, and it changes based on the game you're playing. It also has a fan that turns on, and you can control all of these in the settings, but you'll see now we're in the game mode here. And so we can swipe through different games we have installed and load them. So if we go into this game, we'll just turn down the volume here. We can hit play, and everything is super fast. Now we have some options. If we swipe in from the right, we can set up touch buttons. We've got the triggers on the top, which is great for certain types of games. It even tells us what our CPU temperature is. We can turn the fan on and off. We can turn off messages, block calls, put it in standby. We can record the screen. It's got a built-in screen recorder. So it's really interesting to see a phone that has all of these features in it. So let's get into this. I don't know if you can hear that, but the fan just kicked up. So it's weird to have a phone with a fan, but it's performing really well. It's super smooth. So we'll hit next. Now, if that fan's too much, you can just pop in some headphones here and then just listen to it that way. Or you can turn the fan off altogether and it's nice and quiet. So it's just up to you, however you want to do it. So you'll see the frame rates are super smooth. I'm recording this video at 60 frames per second, so hopefully you can see it. I don't play this game often, but it's just showing me I know how to play this game, but for some reason it's bringing me through this. And you'll see it just looks fantastic. It really is sharp and fast. I haven't seen a single slowdown yet, and it's just super interesting to see a phone that's focused on gaming like this. I know there's been others, but this one just feels very solid, has a beautiful 90 hertz display, and is really great to use so far. Now let's go into a different game. You have to actually go back to Game Space in order to get out of this. So you have to swipe to the right, go to Game Space, then get back out. So we'll go over to the new Call of Duty game. Now I'm not going to play a ton of games here, but I think you get the idea that this is ideal for anyone that wants gaming. The sound out of this is quite good as well, and as you'll see here, the LEDs are still going on the back. You can turn them off if you don't like them. So you just drag whatever you want to use for the trigger over whatever you're using. So we'll just drag that here, and now I can use this for the trigger. Now, when you're playing this game, using triggers definitely gives you the advantage, that's for sure. But you can see how fast this is and how smooth the frame rates are. The back is actually getting quite warm, but there's no slowdown whatsoever. We're running at 90 hertz. It looks great. And this looks like what we had on a console with an Xbox 360 or something along those lines. So overall, I think it's pretty great for what it is. So if you want to get out, you go back to Game Space, and then you can switch to PUBG or whatever game you'd like. You can add a game here, and maybe we want to add Mario Kart, we can add Mario Kart. It's just a little switch on the right. We go back, and now we've got Mario Kart. So it's pretty interesting to see a phone like this when you're done gaming. Flip the switch off, and now we're back to the home screen and back to normal usage. Now this is running Android 9 Pie, which unfortunately is a version behind, but again, it does have some features that you don't get elsewhere. Multicolor LED strip for the setting on the back, picture-in-picture, game docking station if you have that, and then a couple other settings as well. So if we go to System, then go to System Update, you'll see it's version 3.0 of their software, but it's Android 9 Pie. So who knows how often it will be updated. That's probably the only disadvantage of this phone. It's under $500, and you get a lot. The latest processor, 8 gigs of RAM, or 12, depending on which one you get. A great camera in the back so far. And I think if you're really into gaming and you want a phone that should probably last quite a while since it's got a huge battery, this might be for you. But let me know what you think about it in the comments below. It's really interesting and something I haven't seen before, and it's nice to get my hands on something that's completely different. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.